So you might remember a few days ago, Donald Trump comes out and says he's going to be suing the New York Times for $15 billion. Now, he's claiming defamation of character. And he was only thinking about defamation because there had been some talk about the E. Jean Carroll case. That came up again, and that involved defamation. So I'm sure it was fresh on his mind. That's how he operates. Now, he was suing the New York Times for $15 billion, and he was hoping that they would just capitulate, that throwing out this big price tag would scare them into submission, and they'd say, yes, Mr. President, whatever you want. They would do like what ABC just did with Jimmy Kimmel or CBS and Stephen Colbert, or something like that, that they would give him what he wants. And they didn't do that. They chose to fight it. Well, it ended up in front of Judge Maraday, a George H.W. Bush appointee. And after reviewing the complaint filed by Donald Trump and his attorneys, he threw it out. He said, nope, we're not dealing with this. This is improper. Even with the most lenient reading of the appropriate statutes, your filing is improper. I can't allow this to go forward. Now, he did give them a timetable to amend their petition for the lawsuit, their complaint, and make it more concise. This was an 86-page long thing, and it's normally not that long, but it went on, and it was a self-aggrandizing, talking about how great Donald Trump was and how poor the New York Times was, and it sounded like an 86-page long Donald Trump Truth Social post. From the clips and the snippets I saw in the articles I've seen about it. And the judge said, no, we can't do that. That is not how you are supposed to file this. And he tossed it out. Now, they could rework it and put it back in place. But Donald Trump basically just lost again at court. Now, he was, like I said, he was hoping that this case would scare the New York Times into doing what he wanted. And they just chose to fight it. And they're getting out of this now. Now, obviously, if they amend it, it could potentially still go to court. And he would have to rule on it and all of those kind of things. But that wasn't what Donald Trump wanted. If he got the money out of it, great. But he was hoping to scare them into submission. Now, this is what should have happened with ABC and CBS. They should have said no, let him try to sue, and fight back. But instead, they said, okay, whatever you want, and tried to play nice. That's not what you do with bullies like Donald Trump. You got to stand up to them. And then when they're proven wrong like this, you end up winning. Now, this defamation case, if it goes forward, the ultimate claim against defamation is the truth. And as long as the New York Times keeps printing the truth, Donnie has no case.